Alright, everybody. How many of you guys are familiar with the Babylon Bee? Probably most of you. Maybe not as many of you as I'd expect, considering many of you aren't even on Twitter anymore, and that's where they're most relevant. They're kind of like the Onion, but for conservatives. But they try to play this weird towing the line centrist position where, like, 90% of their posts are making fun of the left. Maybe 8% of their posts are, like, neutral comedy posts. And, like, 2% will be posts vaguely jabbing at the right or people on the far, far right. And they don't tend to be very funny. Well, every once in a while, broken clock, they'll actually end up being funny. But generally, they don't get a chuckle out of me. I find that the Onion is far better. And, well, let's just say they actually made a good post today, and it really pissed off their fans. It actually wasn't today, it was 2 days ago, but we're gonna pretend like it was today so we can trick the viewers that watch this when it goes up on YouTube into thinking that I'm topical, and I'm very on top of covering these things as they happen. Because besides me talking about it here, there's no evidence that I got to this 2 days late. There's no evidence. You can't prove it. I was just joking. Anyway, so the Babylon Bee put out a tweet. Very simple tweet and, like, joke article. The white race must maintain our genetic purity, says inbred man. Very basic, like, joke that would get, like, a strong nasal exhale, semi-laugh type deal out of me and I think most people. It's not a scathing joke. It's nothing all that creative. Yeah, Cody Johnson says, cool and normal audience you've cultivated here. Does he follow me? I think he follows me. No! It's so over, chat. It's so fucking over. No, in all seriousness, it's not like, it's literally an article making fun of neo-Nazis explicitly. There is no universe in which you can interpret that as anything other than making fun of Nazis. So the Nazis that are in Babylon Bee's fan base quickly responded in kind. A good example is this account, Klaus Arminius. This account got, this post got 25,000 views. You can kind of tell they're a Nazi account with their weird LARPy-ass profile picture saying, can you guess which ethnic group owns the Babylon Bee? Ooh, they pissed off the Nazis with this one. This is a real leopards eating faces moment, I must say. Deserved. JQ posting on main, why I oughta. The right. They say make comedy out of anything, but also the right. Haha, any other races this applies to, or just the usual easy target? Disgusting organization. This isn't funny. We get it, you're all Jews. What were you hoping to accomplish with this one? Unfollow. Statistically speaking, the inbreeding is far more common in black and brown populations. Shlomo? Is this supposed to be like... I know that part of this is supposed to be homo. What is the shla part of it? Is this a slur I've never heard before? What? Confused. I see the Jewish marching orders have been distributed to the, quote, right-wing influencers and media sites. Jesus. The Babylon Bee is run by Jews who often lash out against Christians and whites, for your information. And then from 9mm SMG, the Babylon Bee is subversive trash. And then they quote tweeted this person saying, since I'm already pissing off groypers this morning, here's my other take. Interracial marriage should be mandatory for the next 100 years or until we're all the same shade of brown. Literally getting so triggered at jokes, dude. My favorite thing about, like, the right is that the Nazis are the most, Like, oh yeah, we don't care about anything. You triggered, but they're also the ones who get the most triggered. The more right-wing you are, the more you feign not caring about anything and never being triggered and not caring enough to get mad or passionate about anything. But the more angry and passionate you get about, like, anything, really. Like, all it takes for most Nazis to get them into full meltdown mode is just for a minority to exist in a piece of media they like. It really isn't hard to break these people mentally. Literally, these people have meltdowns when there's, like, a black person in a show they like. Or, like, a piece of media. Like, they literally lose their minds. They have meltdowns. I mean, we've seen the pronouns guy, right? Not so funny when the joke's on them. Exactly. Like, right-wingers get just as offended as anyone else. Let's not pretend as though the left gets uniquely offended when people disagree with them. Nobody likes when people disagree with them unless it is like a very unimportant disagreement. If it is a value that you consider deeply serious to you, then you probably can't look past a disagreement on the topic. I mean, let me find like the most extreme example I can think of something that like 99% of people agree on. And if someone disagreed, it's like, that is unacceptable. We can't be friends. I don't know, like pedophilia. Like if somebody came along and said, pedophilia should be legal, and they're like your friend, and they're just outright like, yeah, pedophilia should be legal. We should encourage it. That is a disagreement I can't look past, personally. And I think most people wouldn't be able to look past it either. So this like weird virtue signaling about how you would never stop being friends with someone over disagreement is just delusional, because everybody has a line. Everybody has a line. And it's like, it's somewhere. I'd be like, what the fuck, are you trolling? I mean, obviously you would. You'd be charitable because they're your friend. But like, if they're just outright saying, no, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Then there's really there's no justifying that. Like, that's just a disagreement I can't look past, you know? Like, that's a friendship ender right there. That's a bridge nuker, if I've ever seen one. Yeah, and even if the person's saying it as a joke, that type of if that is their sense of humor, that they just find saying with a straight face that they like pedophilia, like they think that's a good joke, if that's their sense of humor, you should drop them. Like, that is a massive red flag. Even if they're not serious, the fact that that's their humor, that like the thought of kids being sexually abused is just makes them tickled pink. I'm sorry, I can't look past that either. Obviously, we're not talking like disagreement on who's likes what food or something. We're talking about like fundamental disagreements about like the basic human social contract, right? If someone's racist, like genuinely so, not just like a little bit internalized racism, some racial biases that everybody tends to have. I mean, like full-on racist. They don't believe that certain groups deserve rights or equal treatment. I think that is a lack of moral character if that's not a deal breaker for you. Unless you are someone who enters that friendship or continues through that friendship with the active, constant goal of being a good influence on that friend to hopefully move them away from their bad opinions. But if it's just something you're willing to look past and just deal with and continue being friends with no drawbacks or action taken, I see that as poor moral character on your part, personally. I do. And so, the Babylon Bee, just absolutely learning why you don't vote for the Leopards eating people's faces party. Because as it turns out, you might end up getting your face eaten off by leopards. Who could have thunk it? Who could have thunk it? You know, what I really love as well is that at no point does this joke even say that those who say that we must maintain the race or whatever, at no point does it say that people who say this quote are all inbred. It's just making fun of the stereotype where an inbred guy says this quote. right? And all these people got super offended because they felt personally called out. How many of these guys do you want to bet are inbred to some degree and are triggered about this? Inbred Nazi. Oh my god, they're talking about me. That's what they thought when they read that tweet. Exactly. That's like a massive, like, saying unfollow in response to this is just the biggest self-report ever. And of course, we've got this amazing, amazing Wojak meme here. It is wild how much of a perfect approximation of so many conservative Nazi types I've seen online. Like, this is a blonde Styx Hexenhammer 666. Like, look up Styx Hexenhammer and tell me this isn't a blonde version of him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they traced him, unironically. It's so accurate. He kind of looks like a Beavis and Butthead character.